Hello to my dearest little champions out there. Let's see if I'm audible, if I am visible. And I hope you guys are back from your school, ready for the preparation. Just a second. Okay. I think I'm audible. Hi Nagaraj. So sweet to see you over here. Okay, let's wait for a quick 1 minute's time so that everyone else who is wanting to study can join this. Hi Aishwarya Kamath. Good evening dear. A very good evening. So glad to see all of the Chutku champions up here. So nice. So today, why are we here? Good evening, Nagaraj. We are here for cracking KCET. We are gonna get one step closer to it. And for that, we are gonna solve top 20 PYQs from the chapter Principles of Inheritance and Variation. Now, this chapter is super important because it gives you 4 to 5 questions almost every single year. That means you could be, if at all you're studying this chapter properly, you could be almost 4 to 5 marks ahead of your competitor who is writing the same examination. So as I said, let's wait for a quick few seconds and then we'll start off because I know a lot of you might be coming from your schools. Okay, shall we start then? I think we are good to go. Let's start with the first question out there. So the only thing that I want to tell you is, while you answer the question, put down the answer like this. 1, A, B, C, D. Put the number of the question, whatever you are attempting, so that I get to know on which question are you in. Okay, so this question is from the concept dihybrid cross experiment, and I hope we are good to go. So a pure breeding pea plant with round yellow seeds was crossed with pea plant having wrinkled green seeds. Round and yellow seeds plant was crossed with wrinkled green seed plants. Now on selfing of F1 hybrid of this cross, 64 progenies were obtained in F2 generation. Find out the number of F2 progenies showing the non-parental characteristics. What do you mean by non-parental characters? Non-parental means it was the character which is not found in parents. It is pretty much new. So in the parent 1, what is the character we saw? We saw round and yellow. They had round and yellow seeds. In parent 2, we saw wrinkled and green. Wrinkled and green. And now they're asking you how many of the children, progenies, will be having something which is not like this, will be having something new. That means this time the progenies could be round and green instead of being yellow, and instead of being wrinkled and green, they can be wrinkled and yellow. So how many out of 64 will be like this? That is the question. MD Shakil, hi dear. Aishwarya says the first answer 1 is 1C. So you're going with C option. Let's see if at all it's correct or not. Anyone else to challenge these children who are answering and saying that no, this is not the correct answer. Correct answer is something else. Well, I hope you guys know. Okay, Nagaraj says it's 12. Which is why I put this question. This question is a tricky question, so you should know how to solve it. My dear children, in dihybrid cross experiment, we saw this ratio. 9:3:3:1. Everyone remembers? So 9 of them were the round and yellow, the dominant trait. 1 of them was wrinkled and green, the recessive trait. Now 2 of them were different. So here it was round and green. And here it was, instead of wrinkled and green, it was wrinkled and yellow. So these 2 were non-parental. 3 plus 3 is equals to what? 6. Out of 9 plus 3 plus 3 plus 1, that means out of 16, 6 of them were non-parental, and now we are asked out of 64. So 6 by 16 into 64, your answer would come somewhere around what? Somewhere around 6 into 4 is equals to what? 24. The answer for this question is A24. So those of you who got this answer correct, kudos to you. And for those of you who didn't get the answer correct, kudos to you guys as well, because you guys tried to attempt this question. And that's more than enough, and I hope now you will know how to do this. Always remember, non-parental will be only 6. Out of 16, only 6 will be non-parental, and whenever you get a question like this, so 6 by 16 into whatever number it is, you have to calculate like that. Is this clear? Can you give me a thumbs up if this question is clear, and can we go ahead with the next question? Listen, for those of you who are watching this session, make sure you're sharing with your friends as well, and make sure you're asking them to come watch this session, because this is going to be super helpful for you guys. Okay, thank you so much, Nagaraj. Okay, so this is 24 and that is the answer. Now going ahead with the next question, and this has to do something with Mendelian disorders. Okay, so which of the following statement is correct is being asked. Thank you, Aishwarya. Okay, female carrier for hemophilia may transmit the disease to sons. Female carrier, she is a carrier, okay, may transmit the disease to the sons. Do you think so? So for hemophilia is a X-linked recessive disorder. That means if at all it's a condition like this, then for a female to have this, she should have both her chromosomes being affected. For a male to have this, only one can be affected and he will still have this. Why? Because there is no one to overshadow the effect. Over here, suppose the female is like this. There is a proper normal X that can overshadow the effect. In a recessive condition, it will show the disease. If it is not recessive, it will not show the disease. So as of now, you are asked that a female is a carrier. So for a carrier, it is like this. She should be having one X that is affected and other X that is normal. Do you think that she can pass on the disease to the sons? Yes. Why? Because from the mother's side, you only give X chromosome. So suppose from the mother's side, this X chromosome went. And from the father's side, anyway, Y has to come for it to be a male, right? So in that condition, don't you think this guy will be diseased? Yes. So over here, statement A is anyway correct. Ma'am, when will you start Sankalp series? Krishna, dear, this is part of Sankalp series itself. Okay, this is a part of Sankalp series. This is exclusively for KCET students. So make sure you're watching these lectures. It is going to be super helpful for you. So Kamath says, Aishwarya Kamath said A and Nagaraj also said A. Kudos to you guys, the answer is A. Let's see why others are not the answer. Thalassemia is a qualitative problem. Wrong. It is a quantitative problem. Beta hemoglobin might not be produced that much. Alpha hemoglobin might not be produced that much. It's because of the quantity, not the quality. So this is wrong. Change in the whole set of chromosome is known as aneuploidy. Wrong. That is known as polyploidy. Whole set of chromosome is found in polyploidy. Now, sickle cell anemia is a quantitative problem. No, that is a problem related to quality, not quantity. Ulta. So this and this will be ulta in nature. So there is a way you can remember all this thing. There's a cheat code. Remember, in your NCERT, sex-linked recessive disorders are there. There is no sex-linked dominant disorders. Only recessive ones are there, and those are color blindness as well as hemophilia. Now, apart from that, only autosomal recessive disorders are there. There is no mention about autosomal dominant disorder in the text. But there is a picture of autosomal dominant disorder, and that disorder is myotonic dystrophy in pedigree chart. Apart from that, everything else in your NCERT is recessive. So in recessive, autosomal recessive, you have phenylketonuria, you have sickle cell anemia, and you have thalassemia. Remember, thalassemia has T and quantitative also has T. So thalassemia is a quantitative disorder. You can remember it like that. Okay. Does this work? Can we go ahead with the next question? So question number 2 done. Can we go ahead with the next question? If yes, give me a thumbs up. If yes, give me a thumbs up. If at all, we can go ahead. So I believe only those of you, yes, thank you so much, Aishwarya. Thank you so much, Nagaraj. So I see few of you are really consistent, and I am hoping others will join after some time, because probably you might be coming back from school. But I request you all to share it with your friends also. Hi, Yuva. Thank you so much for replying. Okay, next question. It's from exceptions of Mendel's law. Think about it, okay? So in an organism, mutation in a single gene exhibits multiple phenotypic expression. That means basically a single gene which is there, suppose it has some problem in it, some mutations in it. It is going to hamper this particular character, and also this character. Multiple characters are being affected because of this one one particular gene being affected. Okay, identify the underlying genetic mechanism in the above instance. So I already see answers. So Nagaraj and Aishwarya Kamath, both of them are saying the option is B. Is it B? Multiple allelism, pleiotropy, incomplete dominance, polygenic inheritance. The answer is exactly B itself. You guys are rocking the floor. Okay, why is it B? What do you mean by pleiotropy, and what is the example for this? So phenylketonuria, you might have heard of that disease, right? In phenylketonuria, what happens? A gene that codes for a very important enzyme, phenylalanine hydroxylase. There's an enzyme, phenylalanine hydroxylase, that get affected. Hi Karthik. Okay, so that get affected, and when it gets affected, when it is not made, what will happen? This guy, phenylalanine, is not able to convert into tyrosine. So this is one big problem that we already have. So one character is being affected. Now the second character that is being affected because this guy is there, this guy is not there, is that since tyrosine is not made, melanin will also be not made, and melanin is responsible for our skin pigmentation, the color of our hair, the color of our skin, everything, which is why those people who have phenylketonuria in their body, tyrosine conversion, this is not being made, and apart from that, they have reduced pigmentation, hair and skin pigmentation. So two characters being affected because one guy is not there or one mutation is there. Okay, so this is an example of pleiotropy. So over here, your answer would be B. Not multiple alleles. Multiple alleles means multiple alleles are there governing one particular trait. That has nothing to do over here. Incomplete dominance means one particular, suppose capital R and small r. It is not completely dominant over the small r, which is why you see a middle character. Polygenic inheritance means multiple genes are there coding for all of them responsible for one character. That is ulta of pleiotropy. Okay, reduction of hair. Nagaraj, not reduction of hair. Hair pigmentation. Okay, hair will be there. It will be pigmented. That means it will be grayish in color, not black in color. Okay. Aishwarya, ma'am, is starch synthesis in pea plant also an example? Awesome. Yes, it is an example of pleiotropy. Okay, starch synthesis is also an example. It is not usually asked, but you can expect somewhere around it. We never know. Yes. So kudos to you, all of you who are attempting, and 12 people who are just sitting and watching the video. Not 12. Minus 2 people, Aishwarya and Nagaraj. Apart from that, whoever is watching the video and not replying to the questions, we are not in one team. Okay, so for us to be in one team, what do you have to do? My dear children, please make sure you are telling the answers. If at all it's wrong, it's wrong. And by the way, did you see something popping up there? It is mentioned that you scored 500 KC90. What do you exactly mean by that? What is happening over here? As of now, we are giving you 500 off. Why? Because Karnataka Rajyotsava had been there, which is why we had given an off, and this particular off period is going to end. So make sure, if at all you have not bought the test series, make sure you do it quick, because the off will be ending up today itself. Today is the last day. Make sure you're buying it. What are you going to get over here? We will ensure that we will give you what do you call a syllabus coverage of 11th and 12th grade, so that it's very easy for you to crack KCET as well as Comet K. There will be chapter wise PYQs. There will be extra questions in the form of DPPs. You will get Abhyas KCET and Comet K test series for free over here. Okay, so you can do that. Okay, you can do that all over here, and this is for ₹9999. But as of now, a coupon code is there. You can use the coupon code and buy, and you'll get a 500 rupees off. Suppose you want KCET alone, you can take this. It's for 5999 minus 500. Comet K, then 5999 again minus 500. I hope you got it. Now Nagaraj is saying, ma'am, is incomplete dominance no? Okay, so basically starch synthesis no, in that you see two things. One is incomplete dominance, whereas not incomplete dominance, you see, just a second. Okay, where are we? Yeah, you see incomplete dominance as well as you see this thing also, pleiotropy also. So it's an example of both of them, incomplete dominance and pleiotropy, both. Okay, capital B is incompletely dominant over small b, which is why you see that particular character, and it is also showing pleiotropy. So it's an example of both of them. Karthik, I am diploma student. Sorry ma'am, I cannot answer. Okay, it's okay Karthik, keep on trying. Okay, if at all you can by some ways. Okay, fine. Going ahead with the fourth question, and it has something to do with pleiotropy as well as codominance. So find the correct statement. Generally, a gene regulates a trait, but sometimes one gene has effect on multiple traits. This is something that we studied just now. One gene has effect on multiple traits. Okay. Now, the trait AB blood group of man is regulated by one dominant allele and another recessive allele. Hence, it is known as codominant. What do you think is the answer for this question? Now, every one of you who have went through principles of inheritance and variation at least once might be able to answer to this question. Read it properly and then try to answer. Usually, a gene regulates a trait. Okay, a gene is there for one trait, but sometimes a gene can affect multiple traits. This is known as pleiotropy. We just discussed about this, right? So this statement is absolutely correct. What about statement 2? Aishwarya says the answer is B. Is it B? For those of you who are watching this video, can you challenge her and say no, it's no. And the next statement is the trait AB blood group of man is regulated by one dominant allele and another recessive allele. And that is why it is known as codominant. Do you think that's why it is known as codominance? No. Why it is known as codominant? Because when an allele IA is there and IB is there, both of them want to dominate over each other, but at the end, both of them are able to express, which is why we have a blood group AB. They are codominant. They are dominant together. Okay, that is why it is known as codominance, not because this is a dominant allele and there is a recessive allele. If at all the situation was like this, IAIO, here A is dominant over O, and that is known as dominance. That is known as dominance. Here, if you're saying codominance, then this is the example. Okay, here there is no dominant allele, though no recessive allele, both of them are equally dominant. So, which is why your statement 2 will be wrong. Statement 1 is the only correct answer. So, your answer would be B. Now, who gave me the correct answer first? It was Aishwarya who gave me the correct answer first. And then Nagaraj also, kudos to you, dear child. Okay, shall we move ahead with the next question? मैम ऐसा लग रहा है कि टॉपर के ग्रुप में no. Okay, so those of you who feel that way, please do not. Okay, I respect all of you who are trying, whether you give me wrong answer, whether you give me right answer, it's you who learn at the end, so please do not be disheartened by that. But if at all you are preparing for some other examination, you are very free to prepare for that as well. Okay, chalo. So over here, this is the chart for the blood group. I hope you guys know. If at all you do not, we will be studying it together in this particular session. Now, the next question has something to do with Mendelian and non-Mendelian disorders. Okay, example for non-Mendelian disorder that is being asked. What do you mean by that? Any idea? What do you mean by Mendelian disorders? Mendelian disorders are the one which or they are the disorders which are caused when you have some genetic mutation. That is, this particular part of the gene is getting mutated, this particular part of the gene is getting mutated. That causes Mendelian disorders. Non-Mendelian disorders means, for example, you also call them as chromosomal disorders. Okay, that means number of chromosome is somewhere less or more, or probably there is a problem in the structure of the chromosome. That is what you mean by non-Mendelian. So they are also known as chromosomal disorders. So in which of them do you see that there is an increase in number of chromosome or a decrease in number of chromosome that causes the disease? Thalassemia, my dear children, is a genetic, it's a Mendelian disorder. Why? Because a part of a gene is being affected. Similarly, hemophilia also, a gene is being affected. Cystic fibrosis also, a gene is being affected. Down syndrome is where you get an extra chromosome, that is 21st chromosome, you get an extra copy of it, which is why they will come under what do you call non-Mendelian disorders. Yes, Nagaraj, you are absolutely correct, and Aishwarya is also absolutely correct. What about others? Yes, Down syndrome is the non-Mendelian disorders, and over here you have a trick. So Mendelian disorders are the disorders that is caused by mutation in some specific genes, whereas non-Mendelian are caused by change in chromosomal number, structure. Everything that is related to chromosomal number and structure is non-Mendelian. Cool? Let's go ahead with the next question. Over here, you have the next question, and it is about non-Mendelian disorders again. So match column 1 with column 2 and find the correct answer. Now this is a tricky question. Remember, this is a tricky question. You might be seeing so many terms that is not there in your NCERT. This question came in the year 2021 in KCET. There are some terms that are there in your NCERT, and with that you can find the answer for this. What do you mean by aneuploidy? Aneuploidy in general means loss or gain of chromosome. Whenever you get a disease because you have either lost a chromosome or probably you have gained a chromosome, that is known as aneuploidy. If you have lost, you call this as monosomy condition. If you have lost, you call this as monosomy condition. If you have gained, you call this as trisomy condition. Right? So aneuploidy can go with loss or gain of a chromosome. That means A goes with 2. I have just one option, and with that one option I can give the whole answer. Yes, Aishwarya. Yes, Nagaraj. So A goes with 2, right? Monoploidy. We'll come to that later. The next term which is given in your NCERT is polyploidy. Polyploidy means what? Increase in the whole set of chromosomes, my dear children. So over here, it is not usually seen in the case of animals or human beings. Basically, you see that in plants. In plants, what happened? Basically, the whole set of chromosomes, they go to one particular cell. So there is an increase in that particular cell. Okay, this is usually seen in the case of plants. So C goes with 1. Now what are we left with? B. Monoploidy. Mono means 1. Ploidy means, you know, ploidy is a number of chromosomes. So mono means 1. A single set of chromosome B goes with 4. And now you have diploidy. Diploidy means 2. So di. Okay, di means 2 basically. So over here 2 set of chromosome will be diploidy, which is why your answer for this question would become C. Now what usually happens is that when children see this option, they are like, oh my god, this is not given in NCERT, I do not know the entire thing. But since you know this and you know this, you got the entire answer. That is the thing. So rather than being panicked, read the entire question properly, give some time to it and you will be able to solve it. Okay? Now let's see, is there someone, okay, Nagaraj and Aishwarya, you already gave me the answer. Thank you so much for that. Okay, I hope you're getting the concepts. Shall we move ahead with the next question? I am seeing 15 people are watching this live. Okay, and just 2 people trying to attempt it. What about others? Are we scared of something? Do you think I'll scold you for some reason? Well, if you think so, please treat me as a friend and please put down your answers. I will be so happy even if you give me the wrong answers. But don't do it deliberately, okay? Okay, next question. Thank you, Nagaraj. Okay, we'll move ahead with the next question. Over here, it's about monohybrid cross. Okay, so in one of the hybridization experiments, a homozygous dominant parent. Homozygous means both the alleles would be same. Homozygous dominant parent means capital T, capital T. They are both dominant and they are both same. Now, and a homozygous recessive parent are crossed. Recessive means both of them should be recessive in trait, and my dear children, they are homozygous. For the day, plan shows Mendelian inheritance pattern, and now you have to tell what will be seen in F1 and F2 generation. So when both of them are crossed, my dear children, when capital T and small t are crossed, what is that something that you see over here? All of them will be capital T, small t. All of them will be capital T, small t. Now this is what the first generation, F1 generation, this is the easiest question. Can you all try? This is the easiest question. So if in F1 generation, what do you see? You always see the dominant trait. You always see the dominant trait. In F1 generation, there is no recessive trait. Hi Manjunath. So Manjunath is saying C is the answer. Dominant trait appears in both F1 and F2 generation, and recessive parent trait appears in only F2 generation. Oh my god. Manjunath came in and gave a 6er. Okay, let's see if Manjunath is correct or not. Now we are going to do selfing. So capital T, small t, capital T, small t. When you cross that, what will you see? Here you see capital T, dominant trait. Here you see capital T, small t, again dominant trait. And then here you see capital T, small t, again a dominant trait. Now you get small t, small t. What do you see? You see recessive character in F2 generation. So what is seen in F1 and F2 generation? The dominant trait is anyway seen. In F2 generation, you see one more thing, and that is a recessive trait, which is why C is actually your answer. So Nagaraj, Manjunath, as well as Aishwarya, kudos to you guys, because the answer would be what? C. Dominant character appears in both F1 and F2, and recessive parent only in F2 generation. Cool, it's an easy question, right? Now let's move on to the next question out there. This is again related to monohybrid cross, is it? It is actually related to blood groups. It is actually related to blood groups, so try this question. The genotype, so this is, you can take it to be blood group related question. The genotype of a husband and a wife are IAIB and IAIO. So IAIB and IAIO. These are the genotypes of parent. Parent 1, parent 2. Now among the blood types of the children, how many different genotypes and phenotypes are possible? What do you think is the answer for this question? Among the children, how many genotypes? Genotypes mean genetic makeup. How many unique genetic makeup can you see? And how many unique phenotypes can you see over here? That is the question. So Manjunath says the answer for this question is B. Is it B? Let's check it out. So I am going to cross, okay? So this and this, when it goes, you get IAIA. This is the genotype. What is the phenotype? A will be the phenotype. Okay, the blood group will be A. This and this crosses, I get IAIO. Again, A is dominant over O, which is why it will be A blood group only. Now, this and this cross, IA and IB. Here, A and B, both of them are going to show co-dominance. So, AB blood group. Lastly, there is no space. IB and IO. Again, B is dominant over O, which is why here it will be B. So, how many unique phenotypes can you see? Since there are 2A, I'll just count it as 1. 1, 2, 3. 3 phenotypes are there. If at all you talk about genotype, everything is different. IAIA, IAIO, IAIB, IBIO. So basically, I can see 4 genotypes and 3 phenotypes. So 4 genotypes and 3 phenotypes, and Manjunath is again correct, along with Aishwarya and Nagaraj as well. All of you are doing absolutely awesome. Superb. Okay, no words. Great. So my dear children, these type of questions can be coming in. I'm telling you, KCET questions are not super hard. They are not super hard. If at all you have a basic understanding of NCERT properly, and if at all you do a bit of question practice, everything is going to be simple for you. Okay, let's try a discussion. Now, this question only those of you would be able to know who have actually dived into the NCERT really well. So choose the possible genotype responsible for the lightest skin color in human beings. What is the lightest? How do you get the lightest skin color? So over here I have, I think Aishwarya has given me the answer as C. Okay, let's see if it is C or not. There is darker skin tone and there is lighter skin tone. Which of them is responsible for the lightest skin tone is being asked over here. So Nagaraj is also saying C. Cool. Is there anyone else out of the 11 people who says that no, Nagaraj and Aishwarya are wrong? If there is anyone else, please put it down. I really want to see. Okay, Manjunath also says it's a C option. So everyone, since everyone is locking C option, probably I would also have to look into that. First of all, my dear children, over here you see one particular character or one particular exception, and that is polygeny. Polygeny is a condition where multiple genes, okay, this gene, this gene, this gene are all responsible for one particular trait, and that is your skin color. And the same thing goes with our height also. Okay, our height is also a what do you call example of polygeny, where multiple genes, poly means multiple genes, right? Now over here, if this is the condition, then your genotype is capital A, capital A, capital B, capital B, capital C, capital C. It will be the darkest skin tone. It will be the darkest skin tone if at all you have a condition like this. On the other hand, suppose here it is not capital A, but it is small a. Now, it will be little more lighter than this particular thing. Same thing, if at all it goes like this, small a, small b, small b, small b, small c, it will be the lightest skin tone. The recessive ones are going to be the lightest. So over here you are asked which one among them will be responsible for the lightest skin color. So you have to look for the genotypic combination which has more of the recessive alleles. So here all of them are dominant, here 1, 2, 3 are dominant, here only one is dominant, and here again you have so many dominant things. So this one which has the least amount of dominant alleles would be what? Would be responsible for the lightest skin color. So all of you who said C, especially Aishwarya who was the first one to say it, and then Nagaraj and Manjunath, awesome, you guys are absolutely correct. Okay? So your answer is C. Now will you be able to answer these type of questions if at all it comes in your examination? I hope you do. And shall we move ahead with the next question? If at all yes, give me a thumbs up, and my dear children, please share it with your friends also who are preparing for KCET. Okay? Fine. Thank you, Nagaraj. Okay, fine. We are going ahead with the 10th question out there. Okay, try this question. It's going to be super good for your practice. Okay, this is again a question related to your NCERT, but a little more higher. That's all. If at all you know the terms, general terms, you will be able to answer it. So Manjunath also, thank you dear. Okay, match the column 1 with column 2. Autosomal, allosomal trisomy, allosomal monosomy, cystic fibrosis. And then here you have syndromes given. You have to tell what matches what. First of all, what do you mean by autosomes and what is the meaning of allosomes? So autosomes are the 22 pair of chromosomes that you have in your body that is responsible for all your different traits. Now the 23rd pair of your chromosome, which is also known as the sex chromosome, they are known as allosomes. They are known as allosomes. So suppose in the 22 pair of chromosome that you have some extra chromosome out there, or whenever you remove one chromosome, when you lose one chromosome, if at all you get a disease because of that, okay, because there is a problem in your number of autosomes, then it will be known as autosomal disorders over here. Okay, and suppose it is because of you have an extra sex chromosome or you have a loss of a sex chromosome, then it will be allosomal. Fine. So over here, which among them is autosomal? Which among them is autosomal disorder? That is the question. So what is the answer for this? 10D, 10D is what Nagaraj, Aishwarya as well as Manjunath is saying. Let's see if it is 10D or not. Okay. So 10D means this is the option that you are saying. So A goes with 4, autosomal. A goes with 4. Is it Down syndrome? Do you think it's autosomal? Yes. Why? Because over here, the 21st chromosome, you get an extra one more chromosome out there, which is why it is known as trisomy or 21st chromosome. And 21 comes under the 22 pairs, which are autosomes. So this is correct. A goes with 4. Correct. Now, allosomal trisomy means in the sex chromosome, you have an extra addition. So over here again, B goes with 3, Klinefelter syndrome. Why? Because over here, instead of just having XY, you have an extra X chromosome. Trisomy, 1, 2, 3 conditions are there. Okay, 3 chromosomes are coming out there, which is why this is allosomal trisomy. Now, allosomal monosomy is Turner syndrome, where what happens? Usually it should be XX, but here you just have one X and you lose the other chromosome. There is no other chromosome, so it's known as XO condition. This is known as XO condition. Because there is only one chromosome, you call this as monosomy, and since it is with sex chromosome, you call that allosomal monosomy. Now, cystic fibrosis, my dear children, it is a Mendelian disorder. It is not chromosomal. It's because your gene is being mutated. It's not because the number of chromosomes has some problems or the structure of chromosome has a problem, which is why your answer would be this. Okay, so over here it's D, not A. Okay, so D goes with 2. C goes with 1, okay, and B goes with 3, and A goes with 4. All of you who said D are correct. Awesome. So I am seeing children are able to answer it even without explanation. That means you are one step ahead of everyone else. Kudos. Super awesome. Super proud of you, okay? Now, going ahead with the next question is regarding the sex determination. It's going to be pretty easy, again, completely dependent on your NCERT. So, XO type of sex determination and XY type of sex determination are the example of what? Are the example of what? XO type of sex determination and XY type of sex determination are examples of what, my dear children? A, B, C, D. Where do you see this? 11B. Nagaraj was really fast saying this. 11B. Manjunath, thank you. Aishwarya says it's C. Okay. Can you check, dear? Check. Check, Marie, once more. So, listen. So, XO and XY. Hi, Mahadeva. Mahadeva also says the answer is B. So, male heterogamety. What do you mean by male heterogamety? Males are producing 2 different type of gametes. That is what you mean by male heterogamety. So, XY is seen in the case of human beings as well as Drosophila. Where they can either produce X chromosome or produce Y chromosome in the gametes. So gametes can have X or can have Y. 2 type of gametes can be produced. So this is example of male heterogamety. Same thing over here. In the case of insects such as grasshopper, they can either produce gametes which has 6 chromosomes, or they can produce gametes which do not have any chromosome, that is O condition. So 2 type of gametes are being produced, which is Y, and both of them are being produced by males, which is why this is an example of male heterogamety. Your answer would be B. So those of you who said the answer is B, you are absolutely correct. Okay, starting with Nagaraj, and then Mahadev, and then Manjunath, and Aishwarya got it correct later. Kudos to you. Superb. Mahadeva Prasad. Yes. Shall we go ahead? And my dear children, the same goes. Please understand, if at all you are asked. Okay, one very important question that is not here, and I want to ask you. What is an example of female heterogamety? In which type of organisms do you see female heterogamety? It is very rare. It is seen only in one type of organism. Can anyone tell me that? Can anyone tell me that one type of organism that shows female heterogamety, where females produce 2 different type of gametes? Yes, Nagaraj, the answer for that question is what? Birds. Yes, Aishwarya, all of you, kudos. Because in birds, they have either Z or W. For a female. So either the female can produce Z gametes or can produce W gametes. Okay? And Mahadeva Prasad. Yes, yes. Absolutely correct. Chalo. Now do this question. Question number 12. Which among the following characters selected by Mendel in a pea plant is a recessive character? It is what? Recessive character. It's not dominant, recessive. Inflated pod, green pod color, white flower, axillary flower. Yes, Manjunath. Okay, Aishwarya says C. White flower. Okay, that is recessive is what you're saying. Okay, Nagaraj also says is C. Okay, anyone else to compete them and say that, hey, Aishwarya, Nagaraj, you guys are wrong over here? No one? Or anyone to tell them that you guys are correct? Option C. So my dear children, in pea plant, please remember there are 7 pairs of contrasting trait. So there will be 1 dominant and 1 recessive. So inflated pod is a dominant trait, whereas constricted, the dried pod, the pod that looks like this, will be what? The recessive trait. Green pod color, whenever you go to market, you pick the green peas out there, right? So green pod color is dominant, whereas yellow is what? Recessive. Now white flower is recessive. Okay, the dominant one is violet flowers. You might have studied it. It's violet flowers. And axillary flower. So axillary flower means, because basically over here, from where you get the branch, suppose you have a flower over here. This is axillary flower. Now at the tip you have a flower that is known as terminal flower. So axillary flower is actually a dominant trait, whereas the terminal flowers are recessive traits. You are asked what is recessive over here, so it's just the white flowers, because violet ones are dominant. Now I'll give you a trick to remember this, okay? Please remember this. So Raja Yadav is growing purple axial trees. Raja Yadav is growing purple axial trees. If at all you like this trick, definitely share it with your friends also, and do not forget to hit on the subscribe button. Now over here, my dear children, so over here you first of all have to write seed form, seed color, pod form, pod color, and then flower color, flower position, and stem length. So all of them has a pair: seed, seed, pod, pod, flower, flower, and stem. Right? So first start with the seed. Fine. Now over here, Raja R. Yadav is growing purple axial trees. So these are all the dominant ones. These are all the dominant ones, and the recessive ones are given below. Okay, and always remember, children usually get confused when we talk about this particular thing. What do you call seed? Whether green is dominant or yellow is dominant. So seed, even though we usually have green ones, it is yellow which is dominant. Okay, remember that. Do you think this trick is going to help you well? If at all, yes, give me a thumbs up. And if at all I can go ahead with the next question, also give me a thumbs up. So your thumbs up would have 2 meanings. Shall we go ahead? This is the 12th question. We would be solving 8 more questions. Come on, come on. Yes, ma'am. Okay, Nagaraj. Let's go ahead with the next question out there. Thank you, Aishwarya. Okay, chalo. Mendelian disorder. Okay, sickle cell anemia is due to the following mutant gene. Which gene is responsible for the sickle cell anemia? That is the question. Now this question can have 2 answers according to me, but Since in your NCERT, you are talking about RNA and not the DNA, which is why your answers can be concluded to 1 as well. So Nagaraj says the answer is D. Aishwarya also says it's D. Manjunath gave me a thumbs up. Thank you, dear. Anyone else have some contradictory answers for this? So my dear children, what usually happens is that you have a DNA. Whatever information is there in the DNA, it is transcribed to the mRNA. Okay, in between you have different type of RNA, but at the end you have mRNA. Now this mRNA gives information as to what protein has to be made. And how does it give information? You have codons. Okay, you have multiple codons over here. Each codon which is there codes for an amino acid. So one such codon is there in your mRNA, that is for beta hemoglobin chain. Okay, for forming the beta hemoglobin chain, this is a protein, and for that protein, my dear children, you need so many amino acids, right? So one codon is there which is GAG. Okay, it is GAG over here, but somehow A is replaced by U. A is replaced by U. So GAG usually codes for glutamic acid, but now since it is GUG, it will be coding for another amino acid that is known as valine. And now since it is replaced by valine, and this is on the 6th position, okay, 6th codon. Now what will happen? Amino acid, amino acid, amino acid, and valine as a new amino acid will be changing the quality, the quantity, the quality of this beta hemoglobin. Now since this quality is hampered, the hemoglobin actually which is going to be made by this particular guy would not be really great, and which is why the oxygen carrying capacity of the RBC that has this hemoglobin also get reduced, and it will be turning sickle in shape. It will turn sickle in shape. That is the logic. Now, why did I say that it can have 2 answers? Because suppose over here, the mutations happened in the DNA itself. It was in the DNA itself. Then your answer would be different, right? Because in the DNA, for example, it was GAG here. Then in the DNA, it should have been it should have been C and T and C again. And this T, whichever is there, my dear children, it should be replaced by A here in the DNA for this particular mutation to happen. So this is actually how everything takes place. The DNA is the one thing that is initially mutated, and that's how you get the mRNA will be transcribing according to that. But that is not given in NCERT. In NCERT directly this is given. In your NCERT directly this is given, which is why the answer for this question becomes D. Otherwise you could have probably gotten another answer, that is this also. Please keep that in your mind. But you have to always answer according to your NCERT, which is why your answer would be always D. So next time you have a confusion whether this is the answer or this is the answer, please go with this because we are following NCERT. Okay, got it? Cool? Fine? Chalo. Then option A can be the answer. Yes, it can be the answer, but as I said, since we are following NCERT and since we have the mRNA codon, let's go with the mRNA one. Chalo. The next thing, Mendelian disorder. This question, can you try it up? All the children who are watching this. Both male and female have normal vision, okay? Though their fathers were colorblind and mothers did not have any gene for color blindness, the probability of their daughter becoming colorblind is what? Both male and female have normal vision. We do not have anything to do with that as of now. We want to see the father and the mother. So the father were colorblind. Father were colorblind means the condition should be like this. For the man to be colorblind, the X chromosome should be affected. And the mothers who were there, the mothers did not have any gene for color blindness. Means she is not even a carrier. Both her genes are normal. In that condition, what is happening, my dear children? Both male and female have normal vision. So their daughters and the sons who are being formed, they have normal vision. Okay, what is the probability of their daughter becoming colorblind? What do you think so? What is the probability?